All right, let's go ahead and get started. Get this set up. And we're going to flip this camera so that it's the other way once I get the computer up. And then what we'll do is we'll use this for the screen. And let's change the chat to live chat, and let's make sure that we're on Wi-Fi. Okay, good. All right, so let's go grab a book because I was able to solve something that was kind of irking me, and I want to put it to use. Actually, I'm gonna grab two books. I'm gonna grab three books. And these are the skirmish campaigns. Ghosts of Smolensk, into the Ukraine, and what's the third one? Drive on Minsk. I'm probably not gonna need the one to the Ukraine. All right, now we got the screen up, so let's go ahead and flip this camera so you guys aren't seeing things back asswards. Okay, I'm gonna flip it. And then wait for a little bit of a delay, which sometimes it was like a really long delay, and sometimes it isn't. It's really discombobulating for it to be a long delay. All right. So one of the things that's kind of been irking me is trying to figure out whether or not I can use all these Czech 38s for France or for Russia or whatever. And a lot of it depends on what version they are. I've got the ones from Plastic Soldier Company. That are I've got the ones that are 3D printed. So there's a turret next to it. And I was just trying to figure out, are they C's? Are they E's, F's? What are they? And it's really hard to find information on the Czech 38 all in one source. I've seen line drawings, and honestly, I can't tell much of a difference. Well, it didn't dawn on me until I brought this guy in, which is my command version from First to Fight. And it's going to have an antenna here on the back, I think. I think I stopped building it because it was like stressful trying to deal with that plastic. It was really brittle. What's up, Marcus? That I realized that the front of the hull, where the driver's compartment is staggered on this version. And I don't know whether this is an A, but it's definitely an early one. So then I'm like, oh, that's where I'll look. I'll look at the front plate, and there it was. So if you have a straight plate like this one, or a straight plate like this one has the staggered one. So this is the earlier version. So now I just got to find out whether these were used in France, and they can go both ways. Otherwise, these guys are going to Russia along with these, which is fine. And then I started thinking, okay, well, if all of these are legitimate Russian ones, let's look at some scenarios that have Czech 38s in them, because I already have 3, and I got another 6, so that's 9 Czech 38s. That's a shitload, by any stretch of the imagination. So where I'm going to find that is going to be in these skirmish campaign scenarios. There's 3 of them for Russia in 1941. The Into the Ukraine takes part in the Ukraine, and if I remember correctly, from doing my research, that the Panzer divisions that all went into Russia that had Czech 38s in 1941 were all in either Army Group Center or Army Group North, which means they won't be going to the Ukraine. This is all Army Group South stuff. So let me just take a quick glance. Now, there is a sticky note on here. And the reason why there's a sticky note is I had gone through here when I was working on my Russians and wanted to see how many of what vehicle I needed to be able to do all these scenarios. So, like there's 3 T-34s I need, 6 BT-7s, etc. Let's just say I pretty much have all those tanks now, inadvertently. Certainly have enough T-34s. 1 T-28, got it. 3 trucks, hell, I got 6. 6 BT-7s, I actually think I only have 4. 2 BA-10 armored cars, I only have 1, and it's a BA-6. They say BT-10, BA-10. KV-1s need 2, I got more than that. KV-2 need 1, got it. OT-126, got it. 2 T-26, yep. So we have all these T-35, yep. So I just want to confirm, and I had done the same thing for the Germans, and there it is, it's on the inside. The German mandatories, and I'm going to see if there's any Czech 38s in here. And as predicted, there aren't any. So I'm going to take this book and we're going to set it off to the side. All right, let's look at the drive on Minsk and the ghosts of Smolensk. In particular, the ghost in Smolensk, that's the Ghost Division, which is Rommel's that's Rommel's X-7th Panzer Division, and it was completely equipped with Czech 38s for all the main battle tanks in that particular one. In that particular one is going to be all Czech 38 tanks. So in here, this one doesn't look like it's got any Czech 38s in it either. Let me just take a quick glance. That'll just eliminate it to one book. Oh, I thought both of these had it. Two Panzer 3Gs. And then I'm going to take you guys on a little scenario. This is something that definitely Marcus is going to appreciate. It's got like commissars and stuff like that. Like, who the heck wants a scenario with commissars in it? And you got to really, this is supposedly a 4-foot by 4-foot board. Look at some of the terrain that's in here. Why is this so? There's nothing else going on in the house. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. All right, let's try this. All right, let's try this again. I tried to switch from Wi-Fi onto regular cellular, but that didn't help. Actually made it worse. Am I real? No, I'm fake just like everything else on the internet. Anyhow, this is a supposedly a 4 foot by 4 foot board. And look at the terrain and marsh and woods and man, the delay is killing me. I'm moving and I gotta wait like 20 seconds. That's crazy. But this isn't what I wanted to show you. It just reminded me of that on there. All right, let's look at this skirmish campaigns here. This is the Ghost of Smolensk. And in here, mandatory German vehicles are, there better be some Czech 38s in here. There's 4. Wow, I have a few more than 4. What are the, we got all the Soviets we need for all that stuff. History of the Ghost Division. It's funny, when I think of the Ghost Division, I actually think of the 11th. I don't think about Rommel, I think of the skeleton on roller skates, as I like to call them. Oh, there's three scenarios that all that are a couple of scenarios that all use the same board. But that's just an infantry action. Red Crossroads and Seno. Nope, none there. Panzer Relief. There better be some Panzers in something called Panzer Relief. Okay, this is Czech 38TC. The C version actually would be the one with a zigzag front. I don't care. They'll bam, they're ease. Done. And what unit are these supposed to be? Well, 7th Panzer. The only thing with 7th Panzer is they use exactly in Russia. They use the same numbers that I already have on those 3. In other words, big red numbers with the white outlines. I'm like, okay, well, I want to do something different with these other ones. I already got some of those. That uses 3 of them. This is just 2, and 2 Panzer 40s. I'm really lost a lot of motivation in finishing my Czech Panzer 40. I may end up doing it as a wreck and wait for whatchamacallit ones to come out. Oh my God, this has 4 Panzer 3s, 4 Panzer 38s, a pair of Panzer 2s, and the Russians have a pair of KV 2s. In a clusterfuck of a map. Wow, we got like a 1 minute delay. Okay, so I might actually, what I'm going to do, I might see what the 8th Panzer had their stuff painted like, and maybe do the 8th instead. The numbers. It might be, just solid white or hopefully solid yellow. That would look really good. Have yellow numbers on them, just to make them different. Okay, so I really need to do this on the computer, not the phone as a visual. But as I talked about a week ago, I ended up talking myself into getting a download of skirmish campaigns. The lucky 8th. I don't think any of them were lucky. I don't know if I can get this any closer. I'll have to. And I can't do it the other way because then it'll be backwards. Okay, we're going to get a bigger screen here in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the Falaise scenario. And I found out something really cool today. Not today, but earlier this week. Something really, really cool. So you have all these scenarios that supposedly represent real places. Okay? And one of them, which was relatively small, is called Saint Eugenie. Okay? Saint Eugenie is relatively small. No, I think I have the forces for this one or something like that. What does Saint Eugenie have it in it? Okay, that's the 116th Panzer Division. Okay, so I've got a pair of Panzer 4Js. I don't have 251-22, and I have a Panzer Grenadier squad. I got all this stuff for the Americans, for the Germans in the correct uniforms, right? They're not SS or anything like that. So I already have Germans I can use for that. So what do I have for Americans? 3 Shermans, M4A4, where they're not going to be M4A4s. That's ridiculous. Okay, 2 infantry squads. I got them. I don't have 2 76-millimeter guns. And optional stuff, I have a Sherman 105 and an M8. So I have all this stuff basically, except for a pair of 76-millimeter and a tank guns. Like, well, that's kind of cool. And then, so I look at this, and I'm like, all right, this is a 4x8 board. That's kind of large. And I notice it's like, man, what kind of terrain's on here? I said, well, you got a town with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings and a lot of roads. I mean, you have this road that does these really big 90-degree angles and stuff in a relatively small area. These scenarios are supposedly made for 15 and 20 millimeter figures, the way it's done. Yes, the 251-22 is the one with a PAC 40. Yeah, so it's basically a 234/4, but instead of it being on the armored car, it's on the STKFZ 251D. They didn't make very many of them either. I mean, they made like, I don't know, 100 of them or something. I don't know, not even. So, easy thing to get, you know. So you got some bocage here. You got some woods here at the bottom. This is orchard. This is orchard. That's orchard. That's orchard. That's orchard. That's orchard. And I'm like, all right. I mean, certainly this is a real city, Saint Eugenie. Certainly it's a real city, and certainly maybe we can figure out why they decided to put that many orchards. Is there that many orchards in that real city? So let me get my mouse here. I'm gonna zoom out. I'm gonna zoom this out a little bit so I have some working room here. Okay, and keeping in mind, so we're gonna go to the map. All right, let's open up the thing that I spend a good bit of my life on. I don't give a shit about that. That is not where I go. We're gonna go to the Google front page. And why is this different? It's supposed to look, I don't know why this is what I use as my front page because it basically has nothing on it. It doesn't have dancing people trying to save you money on car insurance. It doesn't have, lottery tickets. It's just minimalist. It's not using up my bandwidth. Yes, I did make roads. Okay. Google recommends using Chrome. Yeah, this is what should be coming up. I don't know why something else came up. I'm not going to switch now because I don't want more drama. We're going to come in here. We're going to go to Google Maps. This is why I spend a good portion of my life on. Yes, just fucking switch them, but leave me the fuck alone. I don't know why you switched off of it. It's always trying to get me to change things on the computer. And I'm like, I don't want to change things on the computer. Leave me alone. Okay. So we're going to go to, hello, okay. STE. Come on, man. Stop asking me shit. Interruptions are my cancer. Saint, you. How do you spell it? No, close that window. Never wanted that one to be open. Eugen IE. Eugen IE. Okay. Eugen IE. Okay. And let's look at this. So here is whatever this little town is. I don't see any orchards. When I started zooming in, look at the road layout. Here's this road that forks, comes in, and then goes up like that. And if you go and look at this, I hate this mouse. It overcorrects all the time. Comes in, splits, comes in like that. And I can't see where the cursor is. I need to just remember, just put in your fucking context. Okay? Splits, comes in, goes up like that. There's your roads. Now, I'm sure some of this is built up and there was orchards there and there weren't whatever. So the next thing I saw that and I'm like, okay, let's just take a glance at scale, right? What kind of distance are we looking at? From here to here to the split, these are 1 foot squares. So if you scooch this over, okay, it is a little bit more than 2 feet long from there to there. Okay, that's 24 inches. The scale of the game, the scale of the face of battle is an inch equals 6 feet. So basically 2 meters, so to speak. Okay, so basically you got a distance of, it's too fucking early and I can't use my computer. It's too fucking early for me to do math. Honestly, after yesterday, I'm surprised I'm alive. Fucking had a issue at work that hasn't happened in 20 years and burned out all my brain power. So it's amazing I didn't have a drink when I got home, but I never do that. It's proof I can do it. Okay, so if this is 2 feet, 24 inches, okay. I can't fucking think. I can't think. I had it I had it the other day when I was looking at it. I can't figure out now. An inch equals 2 meters. Okay, so 24. We're going to round off. We're going to round off to that being 50 meters. 50 meters. If this is the correct representation, if you should be playing this in the scale that's shown here for my game in 20 millimeter, it should be 50 meters from this split in the road to that 90-degree turn. And I've always suspected that these maps aren't really for 20 millimeter because a lot of the things are really, really condensed. So we're going to go to the map here. And we look, our guide here is 200 feet. And it looks like it's twice that from here. So this looks like it's 400 feet. So it looks like these maps to be accurate, or probably need to be doubled for 20 millimeter play if you want to do the actual thing in actual scale. So yeah, or the distance between these two, between the Y and this straight road. Why is that even up? Yeah, the distance between these two is about 100 and I wish it would just have it in meters. Um, yeah, maybe 200 feet, yeah, 30 meters or whatever. It's definitely more, it's definitely out of scale. And it should be, because if you look at this, like, why would you build this road that would be, that close to the other? I mean, it's like, why even bother doing this? Just run it straight through there. So I think it's just kind of a representation of something. If you double this, now you got an 8-foot wide table on the short side. Now you got like an 8x4, an 8x16. That's huge. I don't have that kind of space. I'm fried as well. Didn't get home until 1:45. Oh yeah. Flight was on time, but then was stuck waiting until the gate to open for over 30 minutes after landing in New York City, LaGuardia. Well, at least didn't get evacuated on a wing. You see that plane that was on fire? Let's put everybody on the wing. Isn't that where all the fuel is? Like, I'll go somewhere else. Yeah. So, anyhow, this is what I was looking at. Even this zag, the distance between here and the corner is not even a foot. And here it's 1, 2. I don't ever use measure distance. I go like 50, 100, 150 feet. That's definitely out of scale. But you can do stuff like this. You can bring Google Man here and come to this corner and go, hey, what does Google Man see here? It's like, oh, that's what the building should look like. Now, the only thing I hate about this is that when you're trying to paint a building like this, you see the mortar is a lighter color than the actual brick. And that looks wrong. It even looks wrong on the real building. I'm looking at this building and I go, at this wall, and I'm like, that looks like shit. It looks like shit because your crevices look lighter than where the shadow should be, looks lighter than the other stone. Well, I don't paint things that way. My crevices are always darker. And then this Y here, obviously, this is 80 years afterwards. Which way are we looking? Looking this way. Yeah, this is a patchwork of a wall. We got cement. Looks like it was built up. Who knows what happened? I mean, maybe a tank came in here and knocked this out, and that's been rebuilt. And it's hard to say what buildings were, from the 1940s or whatever. Certainly, a lot of these towns have older buildings. We come over here to this. This is a new building. But anyhow, I thought that was interesting that the scale of it is off. There's always stuff going on in New York. Most of it you don't want to be any part of. So, yeah, this is out of scale. And the first thing is like, okay, why would you have this road tie in and then 6 inches later it zags back over? Because that's what this is. If these are 1-foot boards, you're talking about like 6 or 8 inches. You have a tie-in, do a 90-degree turn, and then 6 or 8 inches later it does another 90. You shouldn't have roads that are this 90-degree-ish when you're not in the middle of a damn city. Like if you're in the middle of like, Hamburg or something like that, yeah, you got hard corners. But if this is all in the country with orchards, like it shouldn't be that hard of a corner. So, um, yeah, these aren't necessarily hard and fast, scenarios. Here's another one, Le Bourg Saint Leonard. I'm sure this isn't, I mean, look at the layout of this. You have a road coming here, you have another road coming here, you got one coming at an angle. Like, that's a lot of roads for only freaking 8 families that live there. Like, you guys like run a paving business and they're trying to, like practice in your backyard. I didn't search this one. Le Bourg Saint Leonard. Well, that's something to type. Here it is, Le Bourg Saint Leonard. Okay, well this is the whole freaking town. So where's the downtown part? Here maybe? Obviously it's changed very different. It's changed a lot. We've got woods, a shitload of crossroads and bocage. See what some of these buildings look like. Happy little salmon colored building. So I don't know, maybe these scenarios are just kind of good for like an idea because they obviously don't represent things that are, 100% accurate or certainly in scale with the game. Now, one of these scenarios, actually, I could play on the table here next to me. So I think they might be more in scale with, well, obviously it would be more in scale with 15 millimeter things than 20 millimeter things. And, my only interest in playing the scenarios as done, as that supposedly they've been play tested, so they're kind of fair, okay, so to speak. But you look at this and you've got, look at the scenario of Saint Lambert. Saint Lambert. This is a mouse that I freaking hate. It overshoots everything. Then you got to use this, and it goes too slow. Okay. It's a 2x4 board, but if that's a foot square, you could probably fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could probably fit 4 or 5 buildings in a 1 foot square. So it's obviously out of scale. It's obviously out of scale. So it's almost like you should like double the scales. Or run it as close to that and not worry about the consequences. But, if this is a 1 foot scale, if this is the scale it's supposed to be in, there's a whole lot of roads for this area. I mean, it's more dense than New York, road wise. Like, why would you have all that? So maybe I shouldn't be worried about running at letter of the law, but just kind of have these forces go up against each other and kind of do your own thing. It's the only reason I'd be worried about it is, number of turns. Now, a number of turns, they say use it for all these kind of rule sets, but not every rule set's handled the same way. Game length, 6 turns. Well, 6 turns in face of battle is a long time. I mean, there's a lot of actions that could happen. So maybe I shouldn't be worried about that so much. Just do what I do, and that's what I'm going to do. But it was interesting that I found a place that's obviously it's obviously that town with the road net being the way it is. Well, we got nope, not that one. The other one. Where is it? The other one we got painted last night. We did get Eva painted last night. And I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find somebody to fit in there. They got to be like the right shape and the right size and not break the machine gun. So I might just leave it empty. What time we got? It's almost time to go to work. Well, I wanted to go over that. Let's go ahead and see if we can at least get the cross put on there. I will not be on tonight. I've got to go. I got to go somewhere else. I got to go to dinner with the mom and these people that are visiting her. They won't be here for, well, they're gone after today. So you'll have to find some other reason to live tonight other than coming on. It should be easy to find. See if we can at least knock out this. We'll be back on tomorrow morning. Don't know what I'm working on. It doesn't really matter. I'm trying to mix it up, makes it a little bit more interesting for me. Not that I'm bored, but keeps it fresh. Oh, is this the one we're using for the names? Yeah. Oh, hell no. Let's use its cousin that's been abused a little longer. You'll be catching up on sleep. How'd the competition go? All right, we've already put some white down, so we're gonna do the edges here. You don't have any asshole parents to deal with, do you? That's one thing that always bothered me when my daughter was doing competition stuff. It was heavy competition, but it was still a competition. She's like, am I going to run into these parents that are win at all cost parents? Basically they were a loser in real life, sports wise, and their kid's going to make it into the major leagues, and you better you better not have my son riding the bench and that kind of crap. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this cheer mom type things. Not that my daughter was in cheerleading, but you know what I'm saying. It was decent. I actually met a really cool parent from Colorado. I was in Colorado. We don't have to drug test you on your from your trip, do we? All right, now we're actually going to take a little bit of Panzer gray and I'm going to reduce the corners because the corners are a little bit bigger than the sides are a little bit bigger than they need to be. And I specifically put one on a different door than the other one. Oh, it was near Charlotte. Okay. So didn't go to Colorado. Gotcha. Well, the other parent needed to be drug tested then. They're from Colorado. Charlotte. My only experience with Charlotte is we ended up having to spend the night at the hotel because the we're flying back from somewhere. I want to say it was Canada. No, it doesn't make sense. It was the Canadian. It was the New York trip when I went to New York, and the plane, something happened and it didn't make it. It didn't make it all the way. We had to spend the night in Charlotte, and we stayed at this hotel that was near the airport, and it smelled like sewage, and it's because there's a dump nearby or something like that. And they must have had some kind of a big party, and all you could hear was it was like a. My wife could hear what it was. I don't hear well. And she's like, "Yeah, it's some kind of Latin norteño party," and all we could hear all during the night was dum 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 the whole time, like at 2 o'clock in the morning and shit like that. And it was an unexpected night stay. So in other words, I didn't have like my contacts and stuff in it, so I had to like put my contacts in water and then put them in. I mean, it was bad. And I had a headache, and that trip was great, except coming back, we were delayed by a day. That was when we went to New York and Connecticut a couple of years ago. So Charlotte, my experience with Charlotte smells like a dump. I know, it's just where I was at. There we go. Mix a little bit of that dark sand in it. Kevin, you're up early. And norteño music probably keeps you up all the time where you're at. Okay, that looks pretty decent. As a matter of fact, you clean up some of that. That just had the pure Panzer Gray on it. This has a little bit of the. There we go. I'm really liking painting my own crosses on things. It saves so much time. Okay, I have to clean up the black a little bit. Nice terminal building, but there is too short of a time to comment otherwise. All right, gotta start the day. Have a good one, okay? You sleep irregular hours. All your meds cause drowsiness. I had a dream. I don't think dreams mean anything. Let me start off by that. But they sometimes give you an interesting perspective on things. And I had a dream the other night, a couple nights ago, that I don't remember it really well now, but it had something to do with dying in your sleep. And I'm started thinking like, what would happen if you died in your sleep? Like, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, it's almost like you'd never. Well, it's almost like you'd never wake up. Thank you. It's almost kind of like at what point would you realize that you were dead, and at what point it was like you're not dreaming anymore. It's interesting, because you're unconscious the whole time. Because nobody knows what happens when you die. But I guarantee it doesn't feel like this. It's going to be something different, whatever that may be. It may be nothing. It may be, something. But it's not going to be, I think if you're awake and you die, we're just doing some chicken scratching here. I think if you're awake and you die, you're definitely going to notice a difference. Some part of you is going to notice it's not going to be this. It's not going to be the same. The feeling. I think probably everybody would agree with that. So you mean like dying while you're dreaming? Exactly, dying while you're dreaming. I started thinking about that, and I'm like, deep thoughts with tone. I don't think about that shit all the time because it's just fucked up to think about it to begin with. But whatever happens after you die is going to, in my opinion, is going to be more like your dreams than this right now that we're experiencing. I could be wrong. Nobody knows, but I have a feeling it's more akin to that. So, dreams don't make any sense, right? There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make any sense. And like, why would why would I be eating peanut butter? Why would that figure into something else? Things that don't go together. And I would have to think that if something comes in the afterlife, it's going to make more sense than some of your dreams. I don't know. I've never thought about that before. And it was like it worked its way into, a dream somehow. Guess it all depends what happens after. Yep. Yep. You'll never know until it's too late. Man, that clean. I'm happy with that. Now, I don't have time to write Inga, okay? Because that's one thing you don't want to rush is the writing on these things. But at least we got the little cross there. And at least I realized I could easily build all these Czech 38s, which I got. How many is it? It's 6? Well, this one's just trash. This is an old Raffam model, which is actually the earlier version now that I'm looking at it. And it's heavy. It is so heavy and grainy too. It's got like when the lead gets almost like lead rot. I don't think it's lead rot, but it's grainy. Oh well, we'll paint it and try to do the best we can with what we have. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not counting this guy, which we need to put the antenna on. It's going to be a command one. It's got one of those antennas on the back superstructure, which unfortunately is like true to scale, which means I may not be able to pull it off. It may be super, super flimsy, like brittle, like it's going to break kind of thing. So, all right, folks. Well, that's got to be it for this morning. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy your Friday. And we'll be back on tomorrow morning. All right, folks. Bye-bye.